Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, here to talk about all the news that's been going on with the Tennessee Titans. Sorry for my absence. I was off a week for vacation in San Diego. By the way, love San Diego, love La Jolla, love Southern California. Might move out there someday. I know. Moving out of Nashville would be crazy, but man, did I have a good time. So I was out for the Ravens game. I already warned you guys about that. And then we were on bye week, so there wasn't much going on. And then when everything started dropping, and then I tried to use my streaming laptop, it basically just wouldn't charge and quit on me. I don't know what the hell happened. So I have people looking at it right now. So I had to convert everything onto my newer MacBook. I had a previous MacBook with other streaming stuff and settings on it, but that one crapped out on me a couple years ago. So I actually bought this one recently, and I hadn't converted everything to this one as a backup yet. So I had to take a couple days to do that, get everything ready to be able to even make this video. And I've still been working, obviously. So last couple days have been crazy. But here I am, finally ready to talk about all of this stuff that's happening. Now, tomorrow we're going to preview Titans-Falcons, and we're going to go more into the whole Will Levis and Malik Willis and what the hell is going on and blah, 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 blah. I'll touch on it here a little bit because I don't want to leave you guys completely clueless as to my thoughts on it if you haven't been following me on Twitter. We'll get to that at the very end. Let's start with Kevin Byard, who is gone. He's out of here. 5th round pick, 6th round pick in the 2024 draft, and Terrell Edmonds from the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for safety Kevin Byard. Now, I'm mixed on this. Mostly I'm fine with it. I'm not going to ever sit here and say I love it. I mean, maybe years from now, obviously, if the 5th and 6th round picks end up being great, then sure, or Terrell Edmonds ends up actually improving. My one hesitation, though, when people are like, well, he's 30, and I'm like, there's a lot of safeties that play into their 30s. I mean, Harrison Smith is 34 right now, and he's still one of the better safeties in the league. Devin McCourty played well into his 30s. Antoine, well, technically he was a corner. There's a lot of safeties I can think of that played well into their the 30s. A lot of corners that end up converting to safety to play into their 30s. Age for me is not huge when it comes to safety. It's quarterback, you can play the oldest, and then tackle, and then maybe a guard or center, and then a safety. So I don't necessarily buy that he's done, that he's cooked, that he's washed out. He's not been playing very well this year. My problem is mostly that, number one, if you were going to do this shit done in the offseason, period. And all of these moves that we're going to do should have been done in the offseason. And I was one of the few, saying, okay, let's tank. I was saying this back in December last year. I said tank for Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. I was the one saying, do anything you can to trade up for C.J. Stroud. Do anything you can to trade up for C.J. Stroud. I said this in December, January, February, March, April. And I heard everyone telling me, no, let's try to win the AFC South. No, let's give it a shot. Tannehill can win. Tannehill can do this. We can do this. When healthy, we're good. We got injured last year, and that's why we lost 7 straight. We're not that bad. We're fine. And by the way, I've actually not really changed on that stance yet, although this hurts. There's a reason why when the schedule came out, I predicted us to go 6-11. There's a reason why most of the offseason I predicted us to go 7-10 until we got D-Hop, and then I said 9-8. And honestly, I should have just stuck with I said 8-9 or 9-8. And I said probably 8-9, but whatever. I eventually said 8, 9-8. I just got, more and more and more in the training camp facade. But I never said playoffs. I never even said AFC South. I said maybe a little shot of the AFC South. But I knew what this team was. I don't know why people didn't. And by the way, this team that is so bad should be 3-3. Still. So I don't know why I'm the one that now has to be the rational one here or remind people, okay, we're not good, but we're not that bad. However, if these moves go down, okay, we will be really bad. Okay? And with the Tannehill injury, it does hurt because now it opens up the door for us to be really bad. But we should literally be 3-3 right now. Literally should have beaten the Saints if Tannehill was able to one of those wide open receivers, and we're 3-3 and we're battling towards the 8-9 or 9-8 that I thought. 7 and 10 that I thought for most of the offseason. But Tannehill got hurt. So now that Tannehill got hurt, we have the rookie quarterbacks, and that changes things. Now do you trade Kevin Byard, and we're a worse team? That changes things. Kevin Byard is worth a win for this team. Now we're down another win. If you trade Derrick Henry, now we're down another win. Or 2. If you trade DeAndre Hopkins, now we're down another win. Or 2. Okay? So now that you're trading away your best players, okay, now we can be bad. But as the team was constructed, no, we weren't going to be a 4-5 win team. 6 was possible to me. That's what I had. When the schedule came out, go back and watch the video. That's what I had. And I had to sit here and watch people make videos and content. 10, 11 wins. What are y'all talking about? 10, 11 wins. You're out of your mind. 2011 is gone. 2020 is gone. So I'm happy that everyone is caught up. I'm happy that we can now look and see, wow, wait a minute. Andre Dillard never proved that he was going to be a good left tackle. That was always a questionable signing for him to be intended to be a left tackle. He should have had competition at left tackle, and now he's no longer the left tackle. Azeez Al-Shaair has only been okay. Brunskill's been pretty good. Who else did we get? Sean Murphy-Bunting has been mostly good, but we didn't get much out of the draft. Will Levis hasn't played yet. We'll see what we get from there. Spears is backup running back. Josh Wiley is next to nothing. Duncan, nothing. And Colton Powell, nothing. So even the draft isn't great. So the whole offseason wasn't great. So why were the Titans going to be great this year? Why? The only way was if Tannehill returned to 2019, 2020, 2021-ish. Not really 2021. 2019 or 2024. That was the only way. And that's what people wanted to do, so that's what we did. I didn't want to do it. I said, let's move on. Let's do Stroud, whatever. But now, with that said, when the Byard rumors came out about us potentially moving off of Byard, the reason I didn't want to do it, and the reason why I still have reservations about doing it, I still think, unless if you're really trying to be bad next year too, he's still going to be a good safety until he's 33, 34. I really believe that. And I don't know who's going to, Elijah Moore is not going to be as productive as Byard. I don't believe that. I just don't. And I think even in a rebuild, you need to have 1 or 2 pieces that you transition to the next phase of your team. When we were terrible, we still had an older Delaney Walker and Jarrell Casey that helped us transition to the next phase, to help us transition into the John Robinson, Mike Vrabel phase. And they were able to be key contributors until eventually they were too old or not good enough or productive enough, and they got rid of them. I thought Byard should have been one of those players. Assuming he would re-sign for cheap enough, I'm not saying give him $10+ million a year. I'm not saying that. I think you could have signed him for another 1 or 2 years. We have the cap. Who are we going to pay next year? You see, here's the thing when people talk about the cap. Everyone wants to say we have $100 million of cap room. Okay, we're not going to use it all. So let me go ahead and just tell you that right now. We're not going to use it all. Okay? And you shouldn't. If you do, you're a moron. So I'd rather just do another year or 2 of Byard or even Henry, who we're about to ship out potentially, than to just spend $100 million signing all of these free agents, and you know that a lot of them are going to be busts. How many years do you have a Bud Dupree? Do you have a Vic Beasley? Do you have these high-paid pass rushers and corners from other teams that come in and are busts? But at least you know that Byard and Henry, you know what you're going to get. Again, Henry, I'm fine moving on, but like still. You know what you're going to get. And they're not asking for 3-4 year deals. They're not. They're asking for 1-2 year deals. I believe that. Maybe Byard ends up signing a 3-year deal, maybe. But even that 3rd year, there's not going to be any money anyway. So the only way, is if the 5th, 6th round picks or Terrell Edmonds works out. If it does, then great. I would have kept him. I would have kept him because, again, of the $100 million of cap, we're not going to use it all. I'd rather just stick with someone that I know than try to, instead of having Byard, let's say, I don't even know who the top free agent safeties are next year. I don't know. Let's say there's a top safety. I don't think there is. I think Jesse Bates was one last year. Okay? So Jesse Bates last year, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals, right? He signed with the Falcons. So that is a top flight level safety. And let's see what his contract is. So Jesse Bates signed a 4-year, $64 million contract. Now he's playing well right now for the Falcons. But I would have felt more comfortable just doing another year of Biden instead of taking some free agent risks like this. Like, I want to spend money for agents next year. I wouldn't mind a Brian Burns. I wouldn't mind a Chase Young. I wouldn't mind some of these guys. But some of these veterans that we have need to stay to continue to have the culture that we've built. Because now the culture just goes away, it dies. The only one that has it is Jeffrey Simmons and Danique Autry a little bit. And that's about it when it comes to our defense. So that's my one problem there. He'll be missed. I guess it's time, but I don't know if it's time. If he wins the Super Bowl for the Eagles, I mean, guys, I'm not going to be shocked. And guess what? Kevin Byard's on that team. A.J. Brown's on that team. Marcus Mariota's on that team as a backup. Zach Cunningham's on that team as a backup. Julio Jones is on that team. 5 players to the 53-man roster, 10%. 10% are former Tennessee Titans. I might be missing one. You might watch them all win a Super Bowl this year. I don't think so, but because I'm not that high on the Eagles. But it could happen. It really, really, really could happen. Or the next couple of years, because they're going to be contenders for the next couple of years. So we'll see on that. I don't hate it. I hate why we're here. I don't understand why fans wanted to convince themselves that we should compete. I heard this all off-season crap. I wanted to tank. It was the obvious move to tank, and we didn't do it. We went and wanted to compete. This was the inevitable result, and here we are. How stupid. And this is so stupid. I mean, hell, even last year I said, lose the game to the Jaguars, go 7-10, get that 11 pick, see what you can do with it. It's just, I don't get it. It's stupid. I don't know why we tried to compete this year. It was so dumb. So anyway, we're here. So here we are. So Henry and DeAndre Hopkins. So apparently on the trade block. So should we move Henry? If you're going to move Byard, then yeah, move Henry. I would have kept Byard before Henry. Because again, I think Byard can continue to play. It's 31, 32, 33. The problem with Henry is if he's not a bell cow, then what purpose does he serve? So that's why I'd rather keep Byard, because I know what purpose he serves. He's a starting free safety. He's going to play the majority of your snaps at free safety, if not 80 to 90%. Byard, Derrick Henry, I don't know what he is moving forward. I don't know. So if you want to trade him, sure, for a Super Bowl run with the Ravens or whatever, I'm fine with that. It sucks for the nostalgia. I would have loved for him to pass 10,000 rushing yards here in Tennessee. But if anyone's offering even a fourth, you got to do it. You got to do it. Even for a fourth, guys, because there was only half the year left on his contract. Again, I wouldn't have re-signed him except for maybe a 1 or 2 year deal anyway. And I think from what I've seen, and it's just hard to really tell because our offense stinks and our offensive line stinks. I don't know how great the duo of Henry Spears has been fine. I could pair Spears with some other running backs. I think I could do that. So I'm fine with that. It sucks, and when if we do trade him, we'll be sentimental about it because he's carried this team. But that one I'm more ready for and I'm more prepared for because a 29-year-old running back is completely different than a 30-year-old safety, in my opinion. Completely different, especially considering Derrick Henry's workload in his career. DeAndre Hopkins. So apparently he's on the trading block, and there is this whole thing today. So apparently there is this shop, and let me see if I can find the picture real quick. So there is this shop in Hendersonville that was scheduled, reportedly, they're reporting, or at least this was they posted on Facebook, and some chatter that he was supposed to sign autographs for some people, for some fans at this, Hermitage store. I probably won't be able to show the picture right now. I should have had this prepared, but you'll be able to find it if you look it up on Twitter or look at my Twitter. I've already talked about it. And apparently, he didn't show up, and my assumption is that they were talking to his team and not him directly, okay? Because, hell, even sometimes y'all can't get a handle of me. I wish I had a team, so I know you can't get a handle of DeAndre Hopkins directly. So I assume they were talking to his team, and his team indicated, let's wait to do this until after the trade deadline just in case. Okay? And then Hopkins said, I've never even heard of this store, but I'd love to do this sometime. I'm sure Hopkins maybe didn't. I'm sure his team told him, you're going to sign autographs today. Maybe, now, it's a little weird that by this morning, he still didn't know where he was going. That's a little weird. Like, by the morning or week of, okay, I should know where I'm going. Like, I should definitely know. Well, maybe not. I mean, again, guys, it's kind of different when you're a celebrity / player. I mean, I don't know if he's like, I don't know if he even drives. And he doesn't have to. He could just Uber everywhere if he wants to. Maybe he's someone that likes driving. I like driving. Maybe he's a guy that's just like, yo, just take me where I need to go. Oh, we're signing autographs here. Cool. Like, I don't need to know the names of these places. I don't. And I don't blame him. There's a lot of, like, places where he's been signing autographs. Hey, Academy Smyrna, Academy Hendersonville, Academy Franklin. Oh, I'm going here, I'm going there. I wouldn't get to a point where I'm like, look, just tell me what city, and then maybe if the store sometimes if I'm trying to meet up with somebody there, but I don't even necessarily need to know the store. I would be the same way, to be honest with you. So I actually believe it. I believe that he was going to sign autographs, and his team told him, let's not do it just in case. I actually believe it. And he didn't lie. He just said, I didn't hear about this place. That's all he said, as of what I've read. And I'm making this at like 5:30, so maybe he said more since then. So I think he's on the trading block too. Now, my thing with this is, I have no idea why a team would trade for DeAndre Hopkins, unless if we're going to take a lot of the contract. Because why the hell would you not just sign him? Now you're going to take on a contract that you could have signed him for in the offseason, and you're going to give up a draft pick. Doesn't make any damn sense. Only way you're trading a pick for him is if we're going to take on a lot of salary. So if this trade goes down, expect for us to take a lot of this year and next year's salary. Expect that. And even then, if I'm another team, I'm only giving up like a 4th or a 5th, but I'd give up a 5th. To be honest with you, I don't think we're getting much for him. I'd keep him. For that, I'd keep him, unless if he's unhappy, and I don't think he is. I'd keep him and let Will Levis just spam him. You know, I mean, Will Levis needs someone to throw to, guys, because if you want him to develop, and at this point, we're going to need him to, he's going to have someone to throw to, and we don't know what we're getting out of Traylon Burks. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. So I will leave you all with my little Malik Willis teaser. So I said this whenever the Malik Willis was slated as a backup quarterback 2. I said after the preseason, okay, if Malik Willis is quarterback 2, he may be. But do not be surprised that when someone actually has to start, that they put Will Levis in there. That slowly, in practice, Will Levis will actually be the guy. I knew it. He's Vrabel's guy from the get-go. However, Malik Willis was so awful at the end of the Ravens game, I'm fine with it. And I didn't even love his preseason. I thought he should have, took his brass rings that were hanging in the preseason, and he didn't do it in preseason number 3, in my opinion. He didn't have a very impressive preseason, in my opinion. A B at best, B-. He should have had at least an A to be able to get that job. Didn't. So fine. Go in and throw Will Levis out there. And for someone that did not want to draft Will Levis and still regrets drafting Will Levis, I will tell you this. With Quinn Ewers now being injured, with Shedeur Sanders now probably staying in school, we're not going to get Williams or May, because I just don't think there's any scenario, even if we trade Henry and Hopkins, even if that we end up being worse than the Panthers with the Bears pick, the Cardinals, even with Kyler Murray coming back, I think, although I need to see how Kyler Murray looks like, the Broncos, there's some other teams in there. I just don't see it. So I don't think we're getting Williams or May in any scenario. So that means we could get quarterback 3 if he's available. Quarterback 3 for me right now is Michael Penix. I like Penix a little bit more than Will Levis. Penix has a terrible injury history, 2 torn ACLs, and a little bit more than that scares the hell out of me, but on the field he's better. And J.J. McCarthy, a little bit, but barely. But I don't want to spend a top 6-7 pick on J.J. McCarthy. He's not going to have that high enough grade for me. So for me, guys, I'm in on Will Levis in 2024. Unless if he's awful, he's probably going to end up being better than my quarterback. I mean, yeah, it's better to roll with him than to take J.J. McCarthy or Michael Penix with a top 10 pick. Let me say that. Quinn Ewers, I was giving a shot. And he was looking really good. In fact, he was looking better than Will Levis looked to me at Kentucky his final year. But with the injury now, I'm like, I'm only going to have like maybe a year of good film on Quinn Ewers. Can I definitively take him in the top 10 when we have Will Levis? No. I'd rather just take Olu Fashanu, Joe Alt, Marvis Harrison Jr. if he's available, which I don't think he's going to be. Brock Bowers even, because, dude, if Chig does not show something, I'm fine taking Brock Bowers. I'm fine with that. I don't care. Go ahead. Sign me up. There's other options. There's elite talent instead of taking other quarterbacks. So it's the Levis show. And look, we got to get a better gimmick because this Mayo crap sucks. And I'm not going to say anything Mayo related. It's terrible. It's awful. You know how corny we sound to Colts fans and Jaguar fans and Texas fans saying, it's Mayo time. Here comes King Mayo. Are you guys out of your minds? Look, I'm happy he got the bag, okay? And he's endorsed. Let's get something better for Will Levis than King Mayo and this mayonnaise crap. It's a terrible gimmick. We could do better than that. So, I will be back tomorrow for Titans vs. Falcons. Again, I'll try to go live. I'm going to test it out to see if it works. And tomorrow's my birthday, so I'm off. So that'll be nice to enjoy as well. So until next time, those are my thoughts on the Byard, Derrick Henry, and DeAndre Hopkins trade stuff. For your thoughts, comment down below. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.